On Dirty Laundry, that song is very revealing for you, and you did reveal how you were in a relationship and it was abusive. We don't know the identity of the guy, but have you forgiven him since then?
Absolutely. We've spoken since then, so absolutely.
Roy Williams didn't just deny abusing Kelly Rowland. He accidentally blew open a secret that's been buried for 20 years. In 2024, the former NFL star sat down with Vibe Vixen and revisited the day he called off their 2005 wedding. He said he realized, in his words, "We didn't know each other well enough." It sounded calm, even mature. But to anyone who remembers Kelly's 2013 single Dirty Laundry, those words hit like a spark in a room filled with gas. Because in that song, Kelly didn't just hint at heartbreak. She painted a portrait of emotional and physical pain, of a man who tried to break her spirit while the world watched her smile beside her best friend. For years, fans assumed that man was Roy. Now, with Roy publicly denying any wrongdoing, every finger is pointing at one man, Jay-Z.
In the film itself, I call him the normal, regular guy, the simple guy. He kind of won your heart over. How does that relate to how you are personally as a person, and for a person like that to actually win your heart over?
All it takes is a conversation, which is exactly the way that love began in the movie. It just took a conversation.
The timing could not be worse for him. In 2023, Kelly admitted during an interview that her abuser was still powerful in the industry. She refused to name him, but the internet did the math. By early 2025, Jay-Z's name wasn't just floating in conversation. It was pinned to 2 explosive lawsuits that shook the industry and forced his legal team into overdrive. First came the case filed by a woman who alleged that Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs assaulted her when she was 13 back in 2000. The complaint was graphic, the details disturbing, and for a brief moment it looked like one of the most powerful figures in music might finally face questions about his past. Then, in April, the woman dropped her lawsuit, calling it a money grab. Before that happened, Jay-Z's lawyers had fought to dismiss the case, citing what they called inconsistencies in her story. Weeks later, another lawsuit erupted. A man named Joseph Manzaro claimed he was taken to a so-called freak-off event in Miami in 2015 and that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were present. The accusation made national headlines, until it suddenly vanished. By mid-April, Manzaro quietly removed the couple's names from his filing after Jay-Z's attorney proved that both artists were hundreds of miles away that weekend, one speaking at NYU, the other vacationing in Hawaii. 2 lawsuits, 2 retractions. But both cases had one thing in common. Jay-Z's team didn't just defend him, they erased him from the record. That pattern, swift denial, legal muscle, total disappearance, has become a calling card for the Carter Empire. Insiders in the entertainment law world say Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, has developed a reputation for what they call scorched earth cleanups, shutting down stories before they can breathe. So when Roy Williams cleared his name, that same silence from the Carters felt louder than ever. Because while those cases collapsed in court, a different kind of evidence, emotional, behavioral, visual, was being re-examined online.
People wanted those stories for years. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that people wanted those stories for years, and that's just so sad on them because it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. And I just think it's so sad that we live in a world where people don't want to see women get along and encourage and empower each other. And that's what we do for each other.
At the 2021 premiere of The Harder They Fall, a Netflix film produced by Jay-Z, cameras caught him turning around on the red carpet and freezing when he saw Kelly Rowland. The clip went viral overnight. His face flashed with what looked like shock. Then he smiled, hugged her, and said the words that launched 1,000 theories. "I didn't even know you were here." Was that surprise? Or guilt? The internet split down the middle. To some, it was the innocent reaction of a man seeing an old friend. To others, it was the look of someone caught off guard by the one person who still knew the truth. That moment would have faded if not for what came next. Just months earlier, Kelly had called her canceled wedding embarrassing in an interview with Cosmopolitan UK. She said she was too young, too naive, and that she hated facing the public after the split. The lyrics were flirtatious, the chemistry undeniable, and for years, insiders claimed their connection ran deeper than music. When Nas dropped his now legendary diss track Ether in 2001, he didn't just attack Jay's ego. He exposed what everyone in hip-hop was whispering. He rapped, "Foxy got you hot 'cause you kept your face in her." And that single bar reignited every dark rumor about what really went on behind closed studio doors.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
That wasn't the last time Jay's romantic history turned into a liability. Around that same era, Nas's ex-partner Carmen Bryan claimed that she had a 5-year affair with Jay-Z, one that allegedly resulted in a pregnancy. In a 2017 interview, Carmen admitted she lost the baby, but insisted the relationship was real. Her story overlapped perfectly with the timeline of Jay-Z's early success, suggesting that his reputation as a master businessman came with an equally complicated private life. And Carmen's miscarriage wasn't the only pregnancy tied to Jay-Z's name. In 2025, a Maryland woman named Letiasha Macer posted videos claiming that she was his daughter, saying her family had told her the truth for years and that her mother was just 16 when she met him. The physical resemblance was uncanny enough to send social media into overdrive, and the alleged timeline, early 90s before Beyoncé, fit too neatly for comfort? What followed was predictable. Jay-Z's lawyers didn't just respond, they mobilized. Because when it comes to legal warfare, his team doesn't fight cases, they bury them. The clearest example is Rymir Satterthwaite, the man who spent more than a decade claiming to be Jay-Z's son. Court records show that Jay-Z's attorneys have fought him on every procedural front, from jurisdiction to filing timeframes, even arguing that the statute of limitations had expired before Rymir reached adulthood. The pattern is brutal efficiency: delay, deflect, outspend, and outlast. Rymir's side claims Jay-Z's team acted fraudulently to block a DNA test, while court filings from 2024 accuse them of hiding behind sealed records and technicalities. Each motion, each hearing, seemed designed not to prove innocence but to exhaust the other side into silence.
I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling.
When we look at that strategy, we have to ask, if Jay-Z's team is this ruthless about denying paternity, imagine how they'd handle an abuse allegation from someone still in the industry. Someone like Kelly Rowland. Kelly already said in 2023 that her abuser was still powerful in the industry. Those weren't casual words. They were a warning disguised as restraint. She didn't say famous, she said powerful, and that distinction matters. Power in this business means control. Control of media, of access, of narrative. And we've already seen how Jay-Z's machinery operates when that control is threatened. That same machinery was on display when talk show host Piers Morgan had to publicly apologize after airing Jaguar Wright's wild claims about the Carters in 2024. Wright accused the couple of keeping people against their will, tying them to Diddy's wider legal scandals. Within days, Jay-Z's attorney Alex Spiro, yes, the same man who handled both his paternity and assault defenses, contacted the network demanding the segment be deleted. Morgan complied almost instantly, saying the statements were totally false and outside legal limits. The show, uncensored, literally censored itself. That's the kind of influence money and fear can buy.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
Behind the scenes, publicists whispered that Spiro had become the most intimidating name in entertainment law, a fixer whose calls could make editors spike entire stories. Journalists describe receiving quiet warnings that certain topics are off limits if they want continued access to Roc Nation artists. The result is a culture of silence where only fragments of truth leak through. When Kelly Rowland praises Jay-Z in interviews, calling him one of the greatest men I know, we can't tell if it's genuine loyalty or survival instinct. Because if she ever decided to tell the full story of what happened to her, she'd be going up against the same legal machine that erases lawsuits from existence. And that's the heart of it. Kelly's song Dirty Laundry remains a riddle, half confession, half cry for help. For years, we thought it was about Roy Williams, but his denial reset the board. The only other figure who fits the clues, a powerful mentor connected to her inner circle, still untouchable 2 decades later, is Jay-Z. Every time the theory gains traction, his legal team tightens the reins. Every time someone tries to speak, the footage disappears, the posts vanish, the stories get corrected. We've watched this playbook unfold for years. Foxy Brown's teenage collaboration rewritten as harmless nostalgia, Carmen Bryan's pregnancy dismissed as gossip, Rymir's paternity case buried under paperwork, and now Letitia Maker's claims fading into the algorithm. Each incident alone could be coincidence. Together, they form a pattern too consistent to ignore. And through all of it, Kelly Rowland's silence stands like a wall, sturdy, elegant, and deliberate. Kelly has never named her abuser, but Jay-Z's team has spent 2025 making sure no one else can name him either. So we're left with one question. If all of these stories are lies, why work so hard to erase them? Are we seeing a smear campaign against a legend, or the quiet panic of a man with too much to lose? Tell us what you believe in the comments, because the truth might finally be closer than anyone thinks. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your receipts ready. This story is far from over.